another Wednesday and another Course Correct, your weekly dose of online course creation tips and tricks and mindset shifts. And as I promised you last week, this week I am going to summarize Q1 from a course creation perspective, right? And that is very easy to do, because if you follow along, you have known by now that we have dedicated all throughout Q1 to try and launch your course with me. And my name is Zsuzsanna. If you are new around here, then you might not know. So, and what I do is that I help overstretched business and mindset coaches to leverage their time and expertise by, turning their one-on-one coaching packages into digital courses. And why would you want to create a course in the first place? And what is, the mindset that you have to have in order for you to become a successful course creator? And that was all the topic for January, right? So all throughout January, we looked at what kind of mindset shifts would help you get closer to creating the course that you have wanted. And what is it that you really have to, tap into in your conscious and subconscious mind in order for you to be able to move forward with this project? Because we know that there are so many moving pieces and so many different, thoughts of school around it. Schools of thoughts around it, that you might get lost easily. So what is it that you had to think instead of thinking something else? So first of all, if you are a coach, most probably you are selling pockets of your time, right? And that should stop. And that should stop means that you can have clients, you can have one-on-one, high-touch, very intimate service offers in your product suite. But you have to understand that if you want to create something that is more business-like, that is more self-sufficient, that is more, scalable, and I'm not talking about, getting more clients, trying to figure out how to squeeze more into a day, or hiring coaches to deliver your coaching process. What I'm talking about is that once you understand that you can, create a different offer from, selling your pockets of time, which can be a course or a membership site even, then you might understand that it is your unique perspective, it is your unique methodology or framework, or it is your unique take on things that is going to help your clients, your ideal clients, get to the transformation. And you can extract it, distill it from your coaching package, coaching sessions. And Course Launch Accelerator, my signature offer, walks you through this phase, which is the phase of the researcher, when you start and focus on what it is that you can really dial in order for your clients to get the results, right? So that is it. And that for that to happen, you need to understand that it's not only that it is not necessary to sell your pockets of time, but it's also possible for you to be able to, distill your framework, thus keeping your brain, your ideas, your experiences from an arm's length, and you can objectively observe it, and thus treating it as a product, right? So you don't have to attach your business productivity or your business processes or your business operations to your personal identity. And when you are able to treat it as a, as a kid, as a legacy, as something that can be self-sufficient, you will be able to tackle the challenges heads on, because we know that life happens. We know that business is comes with its challenges, right? Just like life is not simple. I mean, I would say simple, but not easy, right? So once you understand that you can have to create this certain distance from your business, even and especially if it is a service-based business, then you will be able to move energy more easily through the day, and you will be able to tackle the things that come heads on. So because it's not going to affect your identity, it's not going to affect your self-worth, it's not going to affect your mood or your whatever it is, because it's not you. It's just something you have to deal with. Just like when you raise a kid, your kid is not you. Your kid is not tied to your self-worth. Your kid is not your legacy. Your kid is not something that you are judged by. And thus, it is easy to let them go when they, when the time comes and they have to let go. I mean, they have to go, right? So something around those lines. We talked a lot about it in January. So you can go back and find all those mindset videos here on Facebook or on YouTube. And if it is something that you need help with, you can book, a 15-minute discovery call to see if you are there, mentally. You are able to have this detachment from your coaching packages, from your coaching services, and you can figure out what your next step can be, right? It's completely free, 15 minutes. It's going to definitely leave you in awe, and it's going to get your journaling practice to another level, because you will be able to come to terms with all the things that you just didn't have the bandwidth to come to terms with, because being so deep in the trenches with delivering one-on-one services, right? Then in February, it was a busy month, because once we got to the right headspace, we were able to create a schedule and commit to that schedule so that we could launch our first course. And you can find all the videos in February that you need: how to find your course idea, how to validate it, how to create a course outline and a curriculum that is going to help you deliver the same transformation that your coaching sessions deliver. And you will be able to understand how your students learn. And once we got to that point, we stopped, because then we talked about different launching or launch strategies. But we just touched upon them so that you understand what it is that goes into creating a course. And it sounded very simple. It was really easy to to follow, but it was definitely worth it, right? Because it helped you understand that there are not so many moving pieces as they like to talk about it online. There are not so many new things to do if you already have a coaching business and you use certain softwares and you have certain camera confidence, or you have certain ways of delivering your services. Then it's not that much of a stretch to actually give structure to it and create a course out of it, right? And I told you that you have this opportunity to understand how your students learn, right? And this is one of the most controversial issues on the internet when we talk about online courses, because if you listen to marketing experts, they say that you need to be able to to deliver on your promise, but they don't say that delivering on your promise does not mean that you have a lot of lecture videos jam-packed with information, because there is nothing new under the sun. The novelty that you can bring to your students is the way you want them to implement it. For instance, in my signature program, I have distilled all my developmental psychology or the, cognitive behavioral therapy methodology into it, so that we could create a course content and a learning environment where your students are able to form habits that help them implement all the necessary processes and information, and keep them on track, growing and moving forward within the course, so that they could definitely benefit from those habits that they create all throughout the course. And I'm talking about it in detail in phase 3 of the course creation process, which is the teacher obvious method, and this is just one pillar. So it's just one pillar where you understand how important it is to incentivize your students to create a repetitive action that fuels their motivation to come back to your course and implement what you teach, and what the presentation phases of each units are, because that is what keeps them moving forward. After all, motivation comes from the Latin word movere, and it means moving, taking action. So you want to incentivize taking action on the chunks of information that you include in your units or modules, whatever you want to call them, so that they could really benefit from, going through your course. Otherwise, you could just launch a YouTube channel, create all these videos that I create, and then you will be able to, debunk all the things that you do, or let a glimpse over your shoulder what you do, but you do not provide the necessary steps for them to internalize the knowledge, to really go deep with it. And I don't like to talk about learning styles at all, because we all have a combination of the different styles that we use throughout the learning process. And as such, 95% of the information enters our brain through visual impact, even if it's just reading text, right? Because it, it triggers the parts of our brain where we can, get to imagine the certain things that we read about. And thus, it's everybody's visual. So when you say that you want to have cater to auditive learners, it just means that for them, it's easier if the visual input is supported by audio, right? So that's it, nothing else. How much of a podcast content do you, implement to the T, if the person on the podcast do not incentivize you to take action? That is. And then all throughout March, I helped you with different habit-forming activities, brainstorm ideas and task types that you can introduce, and how gamification goes hand in hand with habit-forming activities. And when I say gamification, I do not mean only, the leaderboards and all sorts of things, but I'm talking about those bits and pieces that you can take from game design and implement it, so that your course becomes as engaging as a video game, right? Imagine how your kids have their, screen time, and how they love playing those games. And thus, we have come to April. And moving forward from next week onwards, we will be talking about how to fix those courses that you have created without implementing the Teach Your Obvious method. And we are going to talk about it because if and ever you have created a course or a masterclass or whatever it is that you like to call your digital products that deliver your intellectual property in a package, then you can fix it. And I'm sure that you also want to have a leverage compared to those coaches who cannot offer a service that doesn't require them, to deliver the services themselves, because that is something that we might not have the time, the capacity, the bandwidth, whatever it is these days that you need in order for you to carry on with building your business, right? And on that note, season 3 of the Teach Your Obvious podcast also launches, and you will find a link to the podcast, and you will find all the solo episodes that help you fix the courses that you have created without the Teach Your Obvious method. And it's going to help you with all the moving pieces to be corrected in order for you to be able to support the student transformation that you wanted to support with your course, right? So if it is something for you and you'd like to figure out more about the Teach Your Obvious method, you can also book a call. On Facebook, you can find the Book Now tab on the top of the page, and I'm going to help you figure out what is it that really could up your course game, right? So see you next Wednesday about the same time, same place, so that you can fix your course. Until then, have a lovely rest of your week.